with PGA and outside of PGA to look at Web3 Gaming in 2025. So maybe firstly I can get the panelists to give a little bit of an introduction about themselves and what they're actually working on, and then we can dive in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm Sarintip from Jsquare VC. So we are VC based in Singapore. We focus on investing in early stage projects from pre-seed to Series A. So we can like lead around as well, what we follow around. So for us, we pretty stick to basket. So we focus on helping support, to support global projects in the APAC region by leveraging our network within like APAC market, including like exchanges, VC partners, media partners in the region as well.
Awesome, thanks. Corentin, please.
Thanks a lot for letting us speak today, super happy to be here. So I'm the CEO and founder of White Labs. We're 25 in the company, and we focus on helping Web3 projects raise Web3 grants, so non-dilutive funding from Web3 foundations, whether it is Starknet, Arbitrum, Optimism, Ethereum, Polygon, or etc.
Fred from FunFair, long-time PGA member. We are a blockchain company turned VC, and do other stuff. Basically, we invest in early stage projects on the blockchain, some portfolio companies here today and this week. We invest in everything from CFI and DeFi. I'm not the smartest of the partners, so I got stuck in the games because I understand it. It's easy enough. So yeah, that's basically us.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today, guys. I just want to kick off by asking you how you've seen and how you see the landscape evolving in Web3 gaming in 2025, and how it's impacting the way that you're assessing gaming projects. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so for us, for Jsquare, we invested into different projects in DeFi as well, including like Big Time, Game Boom, Oasis in Hub, for example. So we've seen the shift of the marketing more which are less speculative high, but more focusing on like community and also more higher quality of the game and projects. So for us, when we assess the project, we kind of focus on looking at the team and background as well as the game, and also make sure founders that are also ready to stay so that they can really execute the product and also really to make it a product market fit.
Maybe you can non-dilutive.
So we had this conversation before. So I've been speaking panels for PGA for about 2.5, 3 years, and we've been investing in companies for a long time. Been in the space. I think what we see, I see in 2025 is the result of the last 3 years of mistakes by this industry. And I've said it so many times, but I think people don't actually pay much attention to what I say. And what's happening is we got to the point where even the good projects can't raise because everyone just lost confidence in the space. Where we keep them not understanding that crypto and gaming are two different subjects. And the mistake on the crypto financial side and the gaming side, and we expect the rest of the world to actually get it. And we keep on talking about Web3 gaming. And I'm not sure how many of you guys know my background, but we built a company 9 years ago. The first casino on chain. And back then, 2016, 17, we said, oh, Web3. And there was like 1,000 players. Yeah, when my previous company, we had more than 1 million gambling players, right? So that put me in perspective that the Web3 space is tiny. And I'll keep on talking about Web3 gaming and don't target a traditional player and don't understand that the traditional player doesn't care about finance and crypto and all of that stuff, and we don't provide what they want. This is what will happen. So the landscape is very simple. There's, investors got burned, they're not deploying capital, they don't trust that the market is going to go well. We've seen big projects, millions raised last year, disappearing because there's not enough traction, and you can't sustain those projects if there's not 1 million players playing. So I still have hope. Yeah. My hope is to see the projects that actually are doing really good, that got funded, find investors are willing to fund them for a little bit longer so they go live and show that if you do a game right, you can gain traction and gain users. So that's where I see the landscape at the moment. I think we have 4 or 5 more months to see some good projects come out, go live, get traction, and hopefully if that happens, then we might have a second wave of games using blockchain technology. And again, not Web3 games, games using blockchain technology that are going to be successful. Sorry, you can.
Yeah, just to add on that, I 100% agree with what Frederico just said. But I will bring more optimism here. This is why we focus on non-dilutive. Like what we see on our side on GameFi, like 50% of the project in our portfolio are GameFi projects. The market has completely shifted on the grants non-dilutive side. Like now there is 6,000 chains. Every day, every week there is 5 to 10 new chains. All the Dino protocols, Aave, Kraken, Uniswap came with Unichain. All the retail companies, Sony Entertainment in the US came with Soneum. Louis Vuitton in France came with Aura. The FIFA World Cup Association just came with their own layer 2 on Avalanche 2 weeks ago. So there is a lot of chains. On this induced two things for the grants. First thing is chains don't ask for exclusivity anymore, because they don't have the power to do it, because the pool of project is too small compared to the number of chains. And then they are all coming with financial incentive on grants program. You can go to a track tab, so that's 5 to 10 new programs a week. You can just type on Twitter Web3 grants. I've been looking closely at grants for the last 6 years. People who know me before know I had a previous company where we raised like more than $1 million of grants. So this is what you see on GameFi is on top of this equation, because foundations, of course, are obsessed with DeFi Llama metrics, traction, TVL, wallets, number of users. On GameFi, being natively user-based is really what they are looking for the most. This is why we've been solely focused on grants for the last 3 years, and we see amazing results with GameFi projects. So it could be a good way for projects at the moment to raise, considering the fact that on top of the grants, when you get the grant from the foundation, you get like access to the VCs on the edge of the chain, BDs. So it can be a fundraising accelerator on top of the non-dilutive funding you can get.
I disagree with that. I think a lot of the projects should try to get some grants, because again, they're not diluting equity, correct? I think the problem is getting money from a VC is easy. Okay, that's not the problem. There's a lot of money. I've always said this, even before being a VC. Money is not a problem. The problem is actually building a product or a company that's actually going to generate revenue. Okay? So that's fundamentally it. And you're right. If you get a grant, you might get some VCs to look at it. But at the end of the day, I always say this: make sure you get people who are going to invest in your company that are good partners to have. A lot of problems, and a lot of you guys have told me that VC or that guy told me to do a token. They're not being friends. They're trying to make money, right? So that I think is a big problem. You're right. Trying to find a way to not make the mistakes by finding ways to work with chains might help. So there's fundamental interest. Sorry.
That's okay. Actually, just what you're saying, not my list of questions, but you just talking about what games should look for in a VC, as well as what VCs are looking for in games. But what should a game look at in that respect in terms of building a strong relationship and partnership?
I think if you set up a company, correct, what a VC is going to do is give you money in exchange for shares of your company, right, or future shares of your company. It's a little bit like a marriage, yeah? You want to have the right people by your side. As I say, money is not hard to get. Smart money is much harder to get. So be very picky about the person you pick to put money in your business. If they're looking at the short-term gain, then that's not the person that you want. This is why I always get concerned, because I'm going to do a TG, all my investors want a TG. What that translates is, give me money as quickly as possible so I can actually go and spend it somewhere else. And traditionally a VC, and there's a really good book called The Secrets of Sand Hill Right, which is traditional VC. And you look at the landscape, it's 5 to 10 years investment, okay? And in this crazy world of crypto, we think a TG is a 1 year, 2 years, and I'm out. How many of you know businesses that become profitable in 1 year, it's 2 years, and they were all like minted and throwing money away? That doesn't work. It's not like that. So be mindful of the people you pick to become your partners and agents. It's about everything else. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that as well because I guess for most of the VCs, we've seen lots of projects trying to launch token at the right time when the market is peaking, like booming. So I feel like I think instead of focusing on TGV, it's best to just focus on having a that really like the stage as well. So I guess right now for us, we're looking for projects that are driving, that are building good product, real revenue, and to make the business model more sustainable instead of just trying to launch it. And yeah, so I think that's more important than just launching tokens.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Token was cool in 2018, like for early stage projects, but now it's more than it's a red flag. Because those projects are only looking to time the market because too linked to the token. While if you can do organic revenue first,
Well, if you don't do organic revenue, what are you going to do?
yeah, you're dead.
Are you going to launch a token and then go bust? And of course, sorry. So we did an ICO in 2016-17. So I'm not sure if you all know what an ICO, because I'm old enough that I was here at that time, right? You don't understand how mad it is to manage a community of token holders that have no clue about what you're doing, what your business is, but think they know better. Right? And what happens is you just launched a business, you should be focusing on business. No, what you're focusing is in that community is going to completely drain your mind of sense, and you're not going to focus on your project. Just a quick story. So we've been in this space, we've built on Shine, we have a substantial amount of capital deployed in the market, not only in VCs but other things. My technical partner, first thing he asked any project, why do you need blockchain and why do you need a token? And 70% of the projects that we actually move on from a deck to token fail these two simple questions. They can't literally justify it. The only thing they can, I know this, and I'll tell him afterwards, can you just be honest about it? You need capital, right? That's why you need a token. That just does not work. Sorry, I'm having a rant.
That's okay. Touching on some of the questions that I'm going to come on to tokenomics in a moment. But so, what are the key metrics that you guys look for, and what are your expectations regarding ROI and timelines for projects that you're investing? Corentin, I don't know if you want to. I know we talked about this a little bit in terms of what you do with grants.
Yeah. So of course, like. Users, MIUs, DAUs, TVL, and then more than that, as you said, we look a lot about the founder of the background right now, more than anything. So I say it's at the moment it's like 70 to 75% like the track record of the team. It doesn't mean they need to have done a AAA game before that for 5 years with 1 million users, but like definitely like the quality of the team in the current market is something that the chains are looking for a lot. We've seen some projects that are at super slow traction, like maybe 20 daily active people on the Discord, maybe 2 or 3 letter of intent on the B2B projects, but they still managed to secure some partnership with chains because like the team really was quality.
Yeah, I agree with that completely in terms of the team. So as a VC, we believe that like for team, like sometimes the first idea might not succeed straight away, but then because the team is so strong and so experienced in building and growing the project, and they know how to pivot into like different angles to be able to like find the right product market fit or to be able to build community and win the market. So I think, yeah, of course, team is the most important part when we look at early stage project. key metrics, for example, like the revenue models, how their tokenomics make sense as well, like why functioning. And in terms of the ROI for our investment timeline, I think for a lot of VC, we look at long-term investment. So the business has to make sense, and then the rest of the ball keep going up, the tokenomics and the whole entire flywheel will drive the other users within the platform.
Well, I don't disagree, of course. I think it's a bit like saying my product has to have quality, right? If you don't have a good team, someone trying to come and say, oh yeah, I'm going to build a game, so what's your gaming experience, your background in this area? Do you have anyone in the team? And they go, no, I was a plumber before that, and so you build a game. If you never played a game or doesn't have anyone there, that doesn't make sense. But again, I agree with most of the stuff you guys said. I think we now got to a point where we drill down into the numbers. We look, and again, they're projections, so they could go wrong. But drilling into user acquisition costs, revenue models, even making sure that these two things match up. We had a project that said, yeah, we're going to get 2 million users. When I looked at our acquisition costs, they were 9. We're like, yeah, but how are you going to acquire players if you're not spending anything on user acquisition, correct? So you need to have some basic understanding of the industry to understand what those numbers need to be and map them out. Otherwise, good luck, because we need to look at where we're going to exit in 5-10 years. When I ask questions, so what's your exit strategy, where you want to go, and they don't know what their revenue model could be, they also don't know where they're going to go. So those I think are fundamental. Besides that, because I am a gamer and I know the space well, we also look at where they're putting themselves, what game it is, what kind of genre it is, the tech and the size and scope. Like I said, I was talking with Michael, and I said, I don't touch AAA games. It just doesn't work in what I see of the space, right? So I prefer casual or hyper-casual mobile games and all those that can actually, to the point of the pivot, the game didn't work, but we learned a lot. We understand this space, we can actually pivot into another game, right? Or into another genre or into something else. So those things work really well when you understand the space to see what is an investment that can not guarantee but have a better chance of survival.
Okay, great. Okay, just to touch on the tokenomics side of things, how do you think Web3 game can balance hype, sustainability, and tokenomics?
Want to answer that?
So I guess for the hype, of course hype drives attention and drives users to the platform, but then to make the game more sustainable, I guess the game has to be fun and high quality and good enough to maintain the stickiness of the platform. And of course the tokenomics is the play to earn part that's at the elements of that the community rewards. So it has to be a mixture of everything.
Yeah, again, on the non-dilutive side, we don't even look at the tokenomics. We really put the tokenomics slide in appendixes at the really end of the day. Because again, the interest of the chain is really theoretical parameters. So I think this could be a major difference between dilutive investments and non-dilutive. I know that chains have done a lot of mistakes trusting great tokenomics on maps. I was also super cautious with that.
So I think the tokenomics conversation tends to very rarely happen for one reason, because when we ask a question about why a token on chain, most of them fail dramatically, so we never get to that stage. But then again, I think there are different things, because I don't actually believe that you having a token necessarily means that is the revenue generating model for the game. I believe the concept of using a token must be something that makes sense in that game and it brings value to the game. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how you're going to generate revenue just because I have a token that's listed out there, okay? So what I did learn from a lot of the companies, a lot of research we've done with a lot of people in the industry is that no matter how you dice it, it has nothing to do with you, your project. Token price is dictated by one simple thing, Bitcoin. It goes up, you go up. Maybe. It goes down, you go down. No matter what you do, you can be running naked income, yes, and if Bitcoin goes down, your price will go down. And well, we've experienced that several times. But there are things that you can do, and I think it is actually a catch-22 if your game is good, if your game is engaging, if you build a community, you have a much bigger chance of your token not crashing to the ground, because their community is interested in the game and per se in the token. If you do that the other way around, where your community is not gamers, they're interested in token from a financial perspective, literally, you know. And again, to my rant, and I'm ranting just so to put this in perspective. In 6 months, I've invested in zero gaming companies this year, okay? Which is shameful. But that's why I'm ranting about it, because we need to stop this, correct? Build games for gamers and stop worrying about raising money for token and becoming rich, right? And then tokenomics need to align with your game, not with your financial gains. And that's it.
And I'm going to come on to the community side of things now, the user acquisition side. What are your thoughts on some of the user acquisition challenges in blockchain gaming, and for early stage projects, what are some of the key considerations for you as investors?
I just want to go first so I can rant.
Yeah, so I guess in terms of the community side, for gaming industry especially, there's a lot of gamers in Asia market, especially in Korea, in Asia. So I think like localization is also another big important factor that could drive more like opportunities for the gaming project. So yeah, that's like one of the key things that I think is really important.
Yeah, I don't have much to say.
Okay, where to start with? It's actually quite interesting. So people always say this, oh yeah, we got a massive community. Great, what's that community? Token holders, and I go, okay, fuck it off, right? It's like, I don't care about how many people you have on Twitter showing your token or your crypto project, right? I care about gamers. Like, one of the funny things, we talked about on-chain transactions for games, right? That has no relationship, or most of the time, no relationship to the number of daily active users. Because a lot of people transact their assets on-chain if they're playing the game, right? So communities is a really hard sell. I think when I look at community, the first question I ask them, how many monthly active users? How many daily active users? And I might say this and people are going to be upset. Some of the big games that went out in the last 7 or 8 months, or big hoo-has, can anyone tell me how many articles were written on IGN and other gaming things? Because I haven't seen any, right? So where are communities where we are not having our games being spoken in the gaming circles? So when we talk about community, build a gaming community. Don't talk to me about crypto community, because the space isn't that big to have a community of gamers. There are not enough. So unless you go after the traditional model. And this is where I think the problem is. Most of the user acquisition is targeting the wrong people. It's on Twitter targeting crypto lunatics. Yeah? So how the hell are you going to acquire players? You're not targeting people in the right places. So that, I think that is fundamental. You build a community of gamers by targeting gamers and using your user acquisition on gamers. And yeah, great, you have 70, I had 70,000 members in our Discord community in 2016. They are crypto investors. Sorry. Yes, Michael.
Can I ask a question? I was just having a conversation about this before, and it's one of my biggest gripes working with tons of games. Why do you think founders ignore using basic Facebook ads and basic TikTok ads for user acquisition?
I would answer that differently. I think people got so sucked into the Web3 craziness that they lost track of what they're doing. And they're also being pushed by the VCs and the investors that actually force them to go that route. I can tell you that probably 90% of my portfolios that have a call with me and ask me, Fred, should I do a token? I go like, no. And I always am very careful about who are the VCs that are investing in the projects we get involved. knowing that there are good VCs that are going to help them not make a stupid wrong decision, right? Because like anyone knows, running a business, you need to do user acquisition where your users are. Yeah, definitely, they're not doing it in the right place. So that's why they're not doing that sometimes. Maybe an experience, like you actually worry about the token versus worrying about their name.
Yeah, to add on that, as a founder of a product before, they don't even think that far. Like it's more like I will start building my community when the market will get better. When it's better, they're like, okay, I need to go to launch pads, and I need to go to marketing agencies, KOLs. While just building your community from day one, organically, with your first users, creating your product with the first feedback from your users. This is the start of the snowball effect. Even if it's only 200, 300, 1K people on this Discord, this is the beginning of this is how they should do it. Whereas they only start working on the community when the market gets better.
Well, they don't launch until the market gets better. I remember a BGA event in London. I was in a panel and someone asked a question, so what's your prospects for this year? I said, I'm not happy about this year because crypto prices are going up and everyone had this stupid, what is he talking about? Because valuations were going through the roof. Everyone's going, yay! Just thinking, what does the price of Bitcoin have to do with the game you're building? Yeah? So again, it's all a little bit lopsided.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well, but
Okay, I'm going to wrap up with this last question and then I'll open it to the audience for any more questions. What is your advice for projects looking for funding? What can they do to stand out to ensure that they're highlighting the right information that speaks to VCs, investors, chains with bonds, for example? Do you want to kick this one off?
yeah, so I guess it depends on like how early the stage of the project as well. So if you guys are early stage project, like for example, if you're looking for grant and then go to the right like ecosystem grant that are supporting, or if you're looking for like pre-seed stage, early stage project, and go to the right VC as well. Because I guess going to the right VC helps a lot with the success of actually getting funding from them, because the VC have different investment focus. So some VC might invest into getting the project, but some VC might only invest in infrastructure project, for example. So I think it's really important to talk to the right people. And apart from that, I think when you talk to VCs, also like important to prepare for like long-term for a roadmap. Prepare for like all the go-to-market strategies, to design, and like make sure that you have all the information and like have the right like early stage traction to show to them that you have you have the right team, the right product to succeed. Because I think most of the time we see we look at so many projects every single day. So I think it's important to be ready, be prepared, and talk to the right VC.
So we did a workshop on presentations, right? So people have a chance to go and check that the deck that I put together, which is how you should present to a VC and all the information you should have. I think first and foremost, stop using buzzwords. Focus on your game. Second, know your data. Don't go talk with a VC without having a package of data that shows your revenue projections. Don't do it 10 years because you don't have it. Do it all 72 years, much less than 10. At least have 4 years where you can show what is your revenue model, your cost breakdown, your user acquisition, because that shows not only that you are prepared, but you know what you're talking about. Meaning, to the point of having an experienced team, you're showing that you know the industry, you know what you're doing. I think it's fundamental that you understand the space. You never bullshit and make sure that the data is correct. I remember once someone showed me a deck and said 60% of gamers want NFTs. I was like, is this guy high on something? So I actually went and he had a link to the source, and the source was 3 years out of date. Right? So make sure that the data is correct, because otherwise you're going to waste people's time. And the worst part about it is if you waste VC's time, we have this between ourselves where we share the flow. And if we don't like what we're seeing, we're not sharing our workflow. So the right VCs definitely don't want to go to a VC that doesn't know the game. As soon as you want to continue to talk about complex stuff, there's not going to come handle. So I'll be able to do that. Thank you for confirming that. Yeah, so I think those are the fundamental bits, correct? And then I think the more this situation to do with a lack of funding and lack of success, correct, the more focus you need to be on the fundamentals of the gaming, because you will have less VCs that are gaming VCs. The ones that are left, super hardcore, picky about it and will not invest. Fun, just something that is super important. I think raising, okay? Most of the founders have no clue how to raise. They don't know how much they should raise, how much equity they should be giving out. And also, they don't know the landscape of VCs to understand the amount of raise they should be looking at. Because depending on the raise that you do, the VC that you can target. So there are some gaps in the market in terms of VCs deploying capital. So that's really important. And if you don't know about those things, I'm more than happy to talk about it. It can help some people understand the landscape.
Yeah, on my side, I'll finish with all the mistakes I made on the learnings I got from my first fundraise. First thing will be raising is fucking hard. Raising is super hard. Founders are like, okay, we're gonna raise. The money will. I'm Steve Jobs. I'm like Steve Jobs. I'm a primo entrepreneur. I'll get the money, whatever. So, and it's super time consuming. So try to plan accordingly on set up a deadline. Like, let's see what we get in 3 months, 6 months from there. Never involve your product guy and your CTO to the fundraise. As a CEO, your only job is to stick to the fundraise, whatever happens. Okay? If you're overwhelmed with too much interest from the VCs, which is a good problem, you're the only one responsible for the raise. Try to look at all the options, VCs, BAs, grants. A lot of people are not educated enough about grants. We're lucky to be in a space where there is money from the chains, so this is great. Also, the more meetings you'll be doing, the more feedbacks you have on your deck, and then you'll be, these guys are telling me to do B2B2C, and these guys like B2B, and then the more feedbacks you take, the more lost you will be. So try to take feedbacks from the right people. Everything will go well.
Just to add to that, actually there was someone who made this comment, and it's really true. If a VC isn't asking the hard questions when you're talking with them, if he's not kind of going on top and saying, oh, that's wrong, I don't believe in that, and you're not having that conversation, just end it there. You're going to waste time. The VC that is interested in your project will ask the hard questions that you don't want to be asked. Take note of those questions, and if you don't have the answer, you will have to have the answer for the next time you're talking to the VC. So that's actually super important. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
So some great bits of practical advice there, thank you. I want to open up the questions to everyone in the audience. If you guys have any questions for the VCs here. No?
So I used to love NFTs, bought NFTs, really big on it, and thought like gaming was going to be like absolutely changed forever. I still fundamentally don't understand why, when I go to CSGO, like there's this huge skin market, that it's not NFTs and it's not exposed to like Web3 community as well. That belief is like dying bit and bit each day, but I still hope for the time when it comes back. So I don't know, I just like to hype build. Is there for Web2 games like a chance? Because I see like a resurgence for Web3 gaming if Web2 games like GTA or anything like that decide to dive in on crypto. Like, do you see Web2 games picking up NFTs, picking up any of this stuff, and is that even a thing?
The broad, he worked at FunFair, so this is not a fair question. He goes so when we stopped our product, we went into research mode. When we got into those Ethereum and Bitcoin, there was nothing else that was in our NFTs, very few changed. We spent a long time doing research on what was the market. We actually built an internal racing game with NFTs because we wanted to know how to build NFTs. I think the fundamental problem to me is not the NFTs. There's two problems. One, you keep on talking about the technology, not understanding that the user doesn't care about the technology, and we don't hide it enough, correct? And we surface it. Second, because we're all crypto lunatics, we pushed it so hard that all the gamers were like, I don't want anything to do with this scam. Yeah? And that's basically what happened. And on top of that, I think the value added to the user is still not understood. We talk about digital ownership and all that stuff, and I still think it's all like, so bring value added to the user, and yeah, there's things that the blockchain, I think Tim was here before talking about transaction and the secondary markets, assets being able to be swapped. There was someone was saying about the fact that you can't do marketing to the user if you don't have a mechanism to talk to that user, correct? But if it's on-chain and you know who owns an asset on the wallet, correct, then you can actually market other stuff. I just think people are being lazy. Let's use NFTs. Oh, great, NFTs. Nobody cares about it because they're not bringing value. So find more interactive ways to bring value, and then you'll have, not just saying, oh, I'm going to make money in the secondary market selling NFTs, like some people, and then rug pulling others, right? That just doesn't bring value. That's my view.
You go first, I got a question.
Fred's answered
I've become very anti-token recently, just because I've seen so many good quality projects whereby they launch token prematurely, they get destroyed by the market maker, they get destroyed by the exchange, and then some of them even get to a market cap of $10 million, right? But then there's no liquidity. So what is the point of a token launch is what I'm starting to now question, and I'm thinking, if you just make a game, get users, and then do a Series A, and then do a Series B, and then do a Series C, do you think that that actual model that's worked and that traditional model might come back into this space?
100%. Yeah, that's the way. 100%.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of projects recently as well that kind of actually slowing down, like even thinking about when to launch a token, because they want to just really focus on the traction of the revenue first. Because sometimes if we rush to launch a token, then so that after we launch a token, it's also hard for you to raise it as well for the next round. So yeah.
Okay.
You want to
Yeah.
I'm actually happy you came to reality of understanding that problem. You mentioned something that actually is fundamental, people don't understand. It's a one trick only. You mess up a token, you do it to G, and that's it. You're done. Right? But one of the coolest games that I've seen actually had tokens, but they didn't do it to G. They were kind of semi-fungible tokens in the game. They only had value in the game, and you can trade them between the players, and you can build them and create them in the game. That was super cool. They didn't need G, they didn't make money out of the tokens, they had a game that generated revenue. So I don't understand the concept of GG.
Why do you think like Web3 gaming in general, and gaming like still implemented in cryptocurrencies? Why didn't they go cash, right?
Yeah,
And just make like a stable revenue? That must be new.
Well, because the thing is, you mentioned Web3 gaming,
Yeah.
and I didn't mention Web3 gaming. I said blockchain gaming.
Exactly.
That's a massive difference.
I think it should be just gaming, right?
It is gaming.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Web3 gamers, I don't know what that is. I'm not seeing
Exactly.
Yeah, I've seen gamers. I don't understand, like, Tim was talking about stable coins, and I get it, but then he actually mentioned something about UX and usability and all that stuff that I've been talking about for about 8 years. I just don't understand. Why do you have to have all that stuff? Just use blockchain to build better stuff. And abstract the rest. Funny thing is, the previous panel was talking about wallets being shit. Yeah? Why they're shit? Because they're not meant to be used by people that want to play games. They're meant to be used by people that want to make $1 million in crypto. And they don't care about the small markets, right? So just see, that's a big difference.
And also why, for example, like I think they should be using credit card like Web2. We see that that works like straight away, especially in mobile gaming. So why games still implement tokens or even make tokens, right?
You have to ask them, right? Because I've been saying maybe don't need to.
But why do you think people still do that?
Because we still want to make it easy and think they'll get rich making tokens.
Just for the sake of it? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I said that a lot.
Why is it because like they struggle to raise funds?
They will struggle to raise funds anyway. And if they don't struggle to raise funds, they will probably not have enough revenue to continue on.
No.
Sorry.
Did you guys want to add any points to that?
So you guys have talked about Web3 investing. So since tokens obviously aren't the best vehicle for fundraising, do you guys invest in Web3 games on an equity basis or on a token basis? Because especially if we don't even know if a game really needs a token, if you're looking to invest in a game, in what manner do you invest in it? Especially because tokens generally have that shorter cash out period, but equity is generally expected to be 5 to 7 years. So what are you guys looking at as investors in the space? Are you practicing what you preach? Are you having long time horizons, or are you looking for quick cash outs on tokens?
So from Jsquare, we actually invest for both equity and token market, like say classical market price. So like we hold both the tokens and also the equity in the company as well. So like we're not just investing in only pure token, but I think the equity part is actually what we looking for in terms of supporting the project and really supporting
I mean, the question was more toward VC, so
Can I actually?
yeah, I mean, you were only speaking about VC's investments, right?
I mean, you could talk about angel investment too, but yeah, it's a VC panel, so I was specifically talking about VC investment.
Go for it. Unleash it.
So of the total portfolio companies are also in several areas. We have around 10% in gaming, so around 6-7 projects. See, all the gaming projects I have one that is a token deal, also because they actually not want to do equity, and I understand why. Funny enough, we treated that investment exactly the same as we treated all of our other gaming equity investments, and 90% of our portfolio is equity. So I do what I preach. Mostly because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be doing the job of EthCC. And that token deal, we only sold a tiny percentage of the tokens we had, so we could actually invest in others. And we didn't do it by just going to the market and selling the tokens. We actually reached out to our portfolio and said, who is your market maker? We want to sell a certain percentage. They knew what we were doing. We didn't go behind their back and screw their economy, correct? So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, but you can grab our panelists and have a chat with them individually. Thanks very much for your insights, and thanks for listening.